Hi, this is Mary from the Daily Sew. Welcome back to our two-part series on Halloween costumes, where this time we make the wings or the cape. Remember last video we made the hood? I added horns, I've also added ears, and you could have added anything you wanted. So today we're gonna play with all sorts of wing shapes and a simple cape. So if you're ready, let's go. For this project, you're going to need fabric. You can use a mid-weight cotton or something lighter like lining fabric. Depending on how long you want your wings or cape will determine how much fabric you need. You're going to need a large piece of paper, a pencil or pen, a tape measure, and around a yard of elastic about 1/4 inch wide. It comes in black and white. You're going to need some scissors and thread. To make the wings or cape, you're going to need two measurements. First, measure across the back, shoulder to shoulder. This is measurement A. Then measure from one shoulder to the wrist. This is measurement B. For A, I got 16 inches from shoulder to shoulder, and for B, I got 22.5 inches from shoulder to wrist. The wings are going to go from mid-back to the wrist, which is 1/2 measurement A, for me that's 8 inches, plus measurement B, and for me that's 22.5. You can make the wings as short or as long as you want. Just measure along your center back, starting at the base of your neck, to however long you want them to be. You're going to need this number to draft the pattern. If you want to make a cape, you also need that same measurement of 1/2 of A plus B. So that will be from the mid-back to the wrist. And if you make an arc down, it will also be the length of the cape. Keeping the two equal, the width and the length, makes a really nice half circle cape. Can you make it longer? Yes. It can even extend beyond your wrist if you want, but you're going to have to sew panels of fabric together in order to have enough fabric. Or use a bed sheet. Here's how you'll draft the wing cape pattern. Now, mine is not to scale. It's so large, I just want to explain it here in a smaller scale, so you can see it all. So measurement A is across the top. Then come down the length you want. This is center back. Most wings will be shorter at the wrist, right? Because they'll come across, they'll come down. Your wing might be like this, a beetle, or this, a butterfly, or like this, a dragon or a bat type. So you can make all different types of wings just by changing the shape, but the length is going to be what it is just in the center, or however you design them. And to clarify, we're looking at the right wing, and I'll have a mirrored wing on the left side. Remember, the length here is your measurement B. Mine is 32, I think. So you're going to freehand just sketch out from the wrist to center back the wing shape. For me, I'm going with more dragon-like wings. So now here at the top of center back, the two wings are going to be connected, and below that seam, the wings will separate. You could have the connection start at the base of the neck, or you could bring it down a little bit, like so. Okay, so go design your pattern on paper to scale, not small like this, and we'll cut it out of fabric. Let's talk about the cape. To make a cape, I have my center back here across the top in this view. Along the side here is my measurement A, and I made the length equal to that so that I have actually a box. A good way to get a nice curved shape is to get a length of string as long as the side is the same measurement. Mark the string at that measurement, but cut a little bit more. Then tape the unmarked end of the string to the top corner of center back. Hold the mark of the string up against the pen or pencil, then gently pull the string so it's taut, and draw a line sweeping from the wrist to the center back. Voila! I want to show you my wing pattern. I divided the length roughly into thirds to space out my points. Here's where my wrist will be, and this is my center back. And I decided it was too short to get the shape I wanted. So you can just adjust as you go along. I'm going to add more paper where I need it here at the bottom, and then I'll figure out how I want to finish this wing shape. After you make your pattern, it's time to cut it from fabric or measure so that you can buy enough fabric. My fabric is only 45 inches wide, which is typical, so I have to unfold the fabric to fit the wing. You'll cut one wing with the center back along the selvage, and then you're going to flip the pattern and also make it upside down so it fits into that space and cut out the second wing. This is going to save you fabric if you interlock the two pattern pieces. To cut out the cape, you're going to do the same thing. Remember, you'll have a right piece and a left piece that will be sewn to each other along the center back. You can add a little bit extra fabric to this edge, it's called a seam allowance, for sewing the two pieces together, or because it's a cape and the fit isn't going to change much, you can just cut it out as it is and sew with a narrow 1/4 inch seam allowance, 1/4 inch in from the edge. Remember, you need 2 wings or 2 sides of the cape. After cutting is the time to add any decorations to the wings like paint or sewing or gluing on other fabric shapes if you're making spots or butterfly type marks. Now that you have your 2 pieces, you want to sew them together just a little ways down, about 6 to 10 inches depending on your size and your desired effect for the wings. If your wings go straight across at the top, attach them together starting at the top. If you're making a cape, you sew the 2 pieces together for the entire length from top to hem. Here are my wings sewn together just a little ways down, leaving the bottom open to flaps of 2 individual wings flapping in the wind. Here's the cape, and it's sewn down the back the full length. The edge of the cape needs to be finished to keep it from fraying. One way is to fold the fabric up on itself once and then again, encasing the raw fabric edge. You're going to pin, press, and sew the hem down. Another way is to simply use a matching thread and zigzag stitch all around the edge. It's not as clean of a finish, but it is faster. It's hard to hem the shaped edge of wings, depending on how shaped they are. Instead, I would apply fray check to the edges or another glue that dries clear. Just add a little dab and then rub it into the edge and go all the way around. Or you can zigzag the stitch all the way around the edges of the wings, but fray check is probably faster. A third treatment would be just to leave it as it is. It is only for one night. Maybe you don't need it to last forever. So remember this measurement, shoulder to shoulder? You're going to need that again. Okay, here are my wings, and this is the center back. My measurement was 16 inches shoulder to shoulder. So I'm going to go over from the center back to the right 1/2 of 16 or 8 inches and mark it. Then go over 8 inches from the center toward the left and mark that. These marks show where to place the elastic that will go around your arm at the shoulder. This is the same for making the cape. You'll do the exact same thing, measure over from center back. Elastic going around the arms holds the cape or the wings on. You could add a decorative tie to the neck, but this way all the weight isn't hanging from your neck. It's a lot safer, a lot more comfortable. So take some elastic, slip it on up around your arm at the shoulder and the armpit there to get the right amount, how much you need. It should feel neither tight nor loose. When you get that, add about 1 inch more of elastic and then cut. Do the same around the wrists for the wings. If you're making a cape, you do not need wristbands. Cut 2 pieces of elastic to equal the wrist measurements plus 1 inch, for that's the wings only, and cut 2 pieces of elastic to fit the arm at the shoulder joint plus 1 inch. That's for both the wings and the cape. With all 4 pieces of elastic, or 2 if you're making a cape, overlap the ends 1/2 inch and sew them together to make a loop. Okay, with your loop sewn, take a shoulder loop and place it on the mark close to center back. And if you have wrist loops, they will attach at the end of your wing. You could safety pin the loops on, try it on, check the position before you sew them down, or you can just go with it. Pin down your other loops and sew them all down in place. Okay, I've sewn on 4 loops to the wings. I've frayed checked the edges and it's done. On the cape, I attached only the shoulder loops and I sewed a zigzag stitch around the edges. So that's done. Time to go try them on. All right, whether you chose to make the wings or whether you chose to make a cape, I hope you had no trouble at all. But if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below and I will be sure to reply. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.